Belly thought she could finally escape the chaos of Conrad and Jeremiah. But Season 3 Episode 11 just flipped everything upside down. Okay, let's break this down because Episode 11 was the moment where all the walls started crumbling. Belly has been doing her best to prove that she's happy in Paris, enjoying the freedom of being on her own, living in a new city, surrounded by new faces. But here's the thing, no matter how far she runs, the shadow of her past with the Fisher brothers never really leaves her. We see her laughing with her friends, attending classes, strolling through Paris like she belongs there. But deep down, there's that familiar ache in her chest, a pull she can't seem to silence. And just when she starts to convince herself that she's finally moved forward, the past comes knocking in a way she never expected. Conrad showing up in Paris wasn't just a surprise, it was a straight-up earthquake in Belly's carefully built new world. Think about it, the one person she has been trying to escape, the one memory she keeps burying, suddenly standing right in front of her in the most romantic city on earth. For Belly, it's like her heart wants to leap but her mind slams on the brakes. She's torn between the comfort of what she knows and the risk of repeating old heartbreaks. Conrad, though, isn't here for games. He's here with pure determination, and you can see it in his eyes. He's not letting her go again. No matter how much she pushes back, the tension between them is electric. Belly wants to be cold to show him she's moved on with Benito. But the cracks start showing almost immediately. When Conrad mentions the letters he wrote but never sent, Belly's walls nearly collapse. You can feel the history pressing down on both of them, reminding her that their story was never really finished. And that's exactly why this moment is so powerful, because no matter how far you run, you can't outrun the kind of love that changes your entire life. But here's where things get messy. While Conrad is pouring his heart out, Jeremiah is back home still struggling to put the pieces of his life together. Episode 11 gives us a raw look into his pain. He's tired of pretending that hookups and distractions can fill the void Belly left behind. His anger has softened, but the wound is still open, and the moment he finds out Conrad is in Paris, yeah, you already know that storm is about to hit. Because Jeremiah isn't just battling with losing Belly, he's battling with losing her to his brother. And that kind of betrayal cuts the deepest. Meanwhile, Belly herself is caught in a dangerous balancing act. On one side, there's Benito, the sweet and safe new guy who represents her chance at a fresh start. On the other, there's Conrad, who has proven time and time again that he's not giving up without a fight. The episode does a brilliant job of showing Belly's inner conflict. Her heart is screaming one thing, but her mind is terrified of repeating the same cycle of heartbreak. And this fear isn't just about Conrad or Jeremiah. It's about Belly finally realizing that love, as much as it thrills her, has the power to destroy her peace completely. By the end of Section 1, we're left with a cliffhanger that sets the stage for the chaos to come. Belly stands in her apartment staring at Conrad after an argument that shook them both. He's asking for a chance. She's telling him it's too late. And yet, neither one of them can take their eyes off the other. The air between them is thick with unspoken words, with years of love and pain tangled together. And just as it feels like she might push him away for good, Belly's phone buzzes. It's Jeremiah. He's calling from back home, his voice quiet but heavy, telling her that he knows Conrad is there. And in that instant, Belly realizes the truth. No matter what choice she makes, someone she loves is going to be shattered. Episode 11 doesn't slow down after that call from Jeremiah. In fact, it feels like the universe just pressed a reset button on every wall Belly thought she built. That one ring, that one voice on the other end of the line, was enough to remind her that no matter how far she's come, her story with the Fisher brothers is unfinished business. And here's the thing, when unfinished business knocks, it never knocks politely. It crashes the door wide open. Jeremiah's voice carries more than words. It carries pain, betrayal, and the kind of sadness that lingers in your bones long after the heartbreak. Belly knows it, and Conrad knows it too. In that moment, Conrad's confidence starts to waver. For all his determination, for all his letters and his bold move flying across the world, he realizes that Jeremiah's presence is still a weight between him and Belly. And that's when the question becomes impossible to avoid. Does Belly really love him enough to step into this fire again? Or is she about to break him all over? The episode plays with this tension brilliantly. Belly doesn't answer Jeremiah right away. Instead, she stares at Conrad, her eyes filling with a mix of fear and longing. She knows if she says the wrong thing to Jeremiah, she'll burn that bridge forever. And she knows if she says the wrong thing to Conrad, she'll lose the only man who has ever truly loved her without hesitation. This is the kind of impossible choice that makes you scream at the screen. Because no matter how you look at it, someone's heart is destined to shatter. And then Paris starts working its magic. Conrad, being Conrad, doesn't back down. He takes Belly out, walking through the cobblestone streets at night, pointing out the things he's always imagined sharing with her. And this is where episode 11 hits different. For once, Conrad isn't just brooding or shutting people out. He's open, vulnerable, he's fighting not with anger but with hope. He tells Belly that he doesn't care how far she's run or who she's been with. He only cares that she's still the girl he wrote to. The girl he fell in love with, the girl he refuses to let slip through his fingers again. And Belly? She listens. She pretends she isn't, but every word is breaking down the walls she built, still. Benito isn't just background noise here. Episode 11 makes sure to remind us that Belly's new life isn't fake, it's real. Benito has been there for her, he's made her laugh. He's reminded her that love doesn't have to be complicated. But the truth? He doesn't own her heart. And when Conrad shows up, Benito senses it immediately. The tension between the two men is sharp. But what's fascinating is that Benito doesn't explode in jealousy. Instead, he looks at Belly, silently asking her to make a choice. That quiet moment of restraint makes him more dangerous than Jeremiah in some ways. Because while Jeremiah lashes out in raw emotion, Benito stands calm, like a storm waiting to roll in. Meanwhile, back in Cousins Beach, Jeremiah is spiraling again. The call he made to Belly wasn't just casual, it was desperate. He's haunted by the idea that Conrad will once again steal the only person who ever made him feel whole. His friends try to distract him, but nothing works. And here's where Jeremiah's complexity shines. He's angry, he's bitter, but underneath it all, he still loves Belly enough to let her go if that's what makes her happy. That contradiction makes him unpredictable. One second you think he's ready to fight Conrad to the end, the next second you see him breaking, whispering to himself that he can't hold on to her forever. This is the brilliance of episode 11. It doesn't give you easy answers. It throws all three of them into a storm of emotions, forcing us to question not just who Belly will choose, but whether there's even a way for her to choose without destroying something irreplaceable. Because this isn't just a love triangle anymore. It's a test of loyalty, family, and the scars we carry from the past. As the episode builds, we get one of the most intense moments yet. Belly receives another call. This time, it's Jeremiah telling her that he's coming to Paris. And suddenly, the air shifts. Belly's hands shake. Conrad looks at her, his jaw tightening, already knowing what this means. The two brothers are about to face off again, but this time not in Cousins Beach. Not in the comfort of their shared home, but in the city of love, where everything is heightened and nothing can be hidden. By the end of section 2, Belly finds herself alone on a Paris balcony, staring at the city lights. Her heart is pounding, her thoughts racing. On one side, the safe love of Benito. On another, the enduring, painful love of Conrad. And then there's Jeremiah, the boy who gave her 3 years of his heart and now threatens to tear it all apart with his rival. She whispers to herself, "How do I choose?" And the truth is she can't, not yet. Not without breaking someone she deeply loves. When Jeremiah finally lands in Paris, the whole tone of episode 11 changes. Up until now, it's been about Belly and Conrad dancing around their history, trying to figure out if old love can survive in a new place. But once Jeremiah steps onto the scene, it's no longer just a love story, it's a battlefield. And the crazy part? You can feel it from the very first second he and Conrad lock eyes. It's not loud, it's not violent, but it's heavy. Years of tension, jealousy, heartbreak, and betrayal all come rushing back. And suddenly Paris doesn't feel romantic anymore. It feels like a trap, a place where none of them can run from the truth. Belly is caught in the middle the moment Jeremiah shows up. The look on her face says it all: shock, guilt, and an ache that words can't cover. Because here's the thing, she didn't ask for Conrad to come, and she didn't invite Jeremiah either. But both of them came anyway. Both of them fighting for a place in her heart that she isn't sure even exists anymore. It's like her whole life has followed her across the ocean, refusing to give her the clean break she thought she was building. Jeremiah wastes no time making his presence known. He doesn't play games, he doesn't sugarcoat anything. He looks straight at Conrad and says the words we all knew were coming. "You couldn't let me have one thing, could you?" That line alone cuts deeper than anything. Because it's not just about Belly anymore. It's about the years of Jeremiah always being second best, always living in Conrad's shadow, always losing the things that mattered most. And the way Conrad reacts. It's classic Conrad, quiet, intense, but unwilling to back down. He doesn't apologize. He doesn't explain. He just tells Jeremiah that he loves Belly and always will. Now here's the part that makes your stomach twist. Belly is standing right there. She hears it all. Every accusation, every confession, every ounce of pain spilling out between the brothers, and she knows she's the reason. And for the first time, she actually looks scared of what her heart has caused. Because let's be real, this isn't the kind of triangle you can just laugh off or push aside. This is blood. This is family. And once you put cracks in a family bond, sometimes those cracks never heal. But Belly doesn't just shrink back. Episode 11 shows us a side of her that we've been waiting to see, the side that finally refuses to let the boys dictate her every move. She speaks up, telling them both that she can't be the prize they fight over anymore. She's not a trophy, she's not some object to win. She's a person with her own choices. And she's tired of being crushed under the weight of their rivalry. And honestly, that's the moment I started to respect her more than ever. Because Belly, for once, is trying to take control of her own story. Still, the irony is cruel. Even as she says those words, the choice still hangs over her head like a storm cloud. Conrad isn't backing down. Jeremiah isn't giving up. And Paris, with all its beauty, becomes the stage for one of the most emotionally raw showdowns we've ever seen in this series. Benito, meanwhile, is no fool. He sees exactly what's happening. And instead of fighting for Belly's attention, he takes a step back. It's almost heartbreaking the way he looks at her, as if silently saying, "I know where your heart really belongs." His quiet presence makes the tension even sharper because it forces Belly to confront the truth. She can't hide behind Benito anymore. She can't pretend this is just about moving on. Her heart is still wrapped up in Conrad and Jeremiah. And the city she thought would free her has only pulled her deeper into the mess. She tried to escape. One of the most powerful scenes comes later that night. The three of them, Belly, Conrad, and Jeremiah, end up sitting at a cafe table together. The silence heavier than any argument. Conrad sips his coffee like he's waiting for Belly to speak. Jeremiah taps his fingers against the table, restless, ready to explode. And Belly? She stares down at her hands, as if hoping for an answer to appear in her palms. And that silence says more than any words could. Because in that moment, you realize this isn't just a love triangle, it's three broken people trying to find a way to heal without destroying each other. By the end of section 3, the tension has reached a breaking point. Jeremiah finally stands up, his chair scraping against the ground, and tells Belly that he needs to know once and for all where her heart lies. He doesn't want half answers, he doesn't want excuses. He wants the truth, even if it breaks him. And the way Belly looks at him, her eyes filling with tears. You know she's about to make a decision that will change everything. But the episode doesn't give us that answer yet. Instead, it leaves us dangling on the edge, wondering if Belly's next words will heal or destroy the Fisher brothers forever. So here's where things get wild. After Jeremiah demands an answer, Belly doesn't give him one right away. Instead, she freezes. And that silence? It cuts sharper than anything she could have said. Because silence is an answer to its hesitation, its doubt, and Jeremiah feels it in his bones. He knows that if Belly truly loved him the way he loved her, she wouldn't have to think. She wouldn't pause. She would have said his name without blinking. And that's when Jeremiah realizes something he's been avoiding for years. Maybe he was always holding onto someone who never fully belonged to him. Conrad, on the other hand, sees that pause differently. To him, it's proof that Belly's heart is still tangled up with his, even if she doesn't want to admit it. He leans in, trying to reassure her, telling her that he doesn't care how messy things have gotten. What matters is that they still love each other. But here's the problem. Conrad's confidence only makes Jeremiah's hurt worse. To Jeremiah, it sounds like history repeating itself. Conrad swooping in to take what little joy Jeremiah ever had. And this time, Jeremiah isn't backing down without a fight. The cafe scene explodes from silence into chaos. Jeremiah accuses Conrad of being selfish, of never caring about anyone but himself. He says that Conrad had his chance years ago and he blew it. So why does he get to ruin Jeremiah's chance too? And Conrad, instead of apologizing, fires back that Jeremiah never understood what it really meant to love Belly in the first place. That she's not someone you just move on from when things get hard. That if Jeremiah really loved her, he wouldn't be trying to erase her feelings for Conrad. These words cut deep because they hit at Jeremiah's biggest fear, that Belly never loved him the way she loved Conrad. Belly, caught between them, finally snaps. She tells them both to stop, her voice shaking but strong. And in that moment, you can feel the weight of all the years, all the heartbreak, all the pain crushing her. She tells them that they can't keep using her as the weapon in their war against each other. That if they can't see her as more than something to win or lose, then maybe she doesn't belong with either of them. And just like that, the entire cafe falls silent again. But this time it's because Belly's words hit harder than any argument ever could. Later that night, Belly escapes the tension by wandering the Paris streets alone. The lights are beautiful, the city alive, but none of it feels comforting. For the first time, Paris feels suffocating, as if every corner reminds her of the mess she's in. She thinks about Benito, about how easy life felt when he was the only one she had to worry about. And yet, even when she tries to picture a future with him, Conrad's face flashes in her mind. Jeremiah's laughter echoes in her memory. She's haunted by the love she can't seem to choose, no matter how hard she tries. Meanwhile, Conrad and Jeremiah have their own moment alone. And it's one of the most gut-wrenching scenes of the episode. Jeremiah finally lets his guard down, confessing that it's not just about Belly, it's about always being second to Conrad in everything. In sports, in school, in their mother's eyes, and now in love. He says he's tired of living in Conrad's shadow, tired of feeling like no matter what he does, he'll never be enough. And Conrad, for once, doesn't argue. He listens. You can see the guilt written all over his face. The realization that maybe he's been blind to how much Jeremiah has suffered all these years. But the tragic part? Even after that raw confession, neither of them can let Belly go. They both want her, they both believe they deserve her, and neither one is willing to step aside. It's like watching two men bleed out, refusing to drop the sword even as it kills them. And Belly, without even realizing it, is holding the blade that's cutting them both. The episode builds toward another brutal cliffhanger. Belly, desperate for clarity, writes a letter late at night. Her hand shakes as she scribbles the words, her tears staining the page. We don't see what she writes, but we know it's important. We know it's the kind of letter that could change everything. She folds it up, places it in an envelope, and leaves it on the table. The camera lingers on it, and we're left screaming at the screen, desperate to know who is it for? Conrad, Jeremiah, or maybe neither of them. By the end of section 4, we're left in pure suspense. Conrad and Jeremiah sit in silence, the weight of their fractured brotherhood pressing down on them. Belly lies awake in her room, staring at the ceiling, her heart torn in two. And somewhere in Paris, Benito is quietly preparing to step away, knowing that no matter what Belly decides, he's already lost her to the Fisher brothers. It's the kind of build-up that makes you both excited and terrified for what comes next. Because the letter is waiting. And once it's opened, there's no going back. The morning after Belly writes that mysterious letter, everything feels heavy. The air in Paris has shifted. It's no longer the romantic escape Belly once dreamed of. It's tense, it's fragile, and every second feels like it could break everything wide open. Conrad notices the envelope on the table first, but before he can even touch it, Belly walks into the room and freezes. That little moment right there says it all. Because if the letter wasn't something big, she wouldn't have reacted like she was caught hiding a secret. And of course, both Conrad and Jeremiah sense it immediately, but Belly doesn't let them open it. She snatches the letter up, tucks it into her bag, and walks out without an explanation. That move alone sends both brothers spiraling. Jeremiah thinks it's proof she's choosing Conrad and just doesn't have the courage to say it out loud. Conrad, though, sees it differently. He thinks Belly is scared of hurting Jeremiah again. And that's why she's holding back. Either way, the letter becomes this invisible bomb sitting between the three of them, waiting to go off. Episode 11 takes us deeper into their emotions by slowing everything down. Belly spends the day wandering Paris, clutching the letter in her bag like it's burning a hole through her. Every corner of the city reminds her of the choices she's avoiding. She watches couples laugh at cafes, people walking hand in hand along the Seine. And she wonders, why can't love ever be that simple for her? Why does it always have to feel like breaking one heart to save another? The pressure eats at her until she can't even breathe. Meanwhile, Conrad and Jeremiah finally have it out, really have it out, away from Belly's eyes. This isn't just another argument, it's years of resentment spilling onto the streets of Paris. Jeremiah accuses Conrad of always thinking he's better, of assuming that Belly could never truly love anyone else. Conrad fires back, saying Jeremiah only wants Belly because Conrad had her first. That Jeremiah doesn't even see Belly for who she is, he just sees her as a chance to finally beat Conrad at something. The words are brutal, the kind that leave scars. And for a moment, you wonder if these brothers can ever come back from this. But here's the twist underneath all that anger. You can see that neither of them actually wants to lose the other. They're broken, yes, but they're still brothers. And when Conrad finally says, "You were the one she leaned on for years, not me," Jeremiah actually stops in his tracks. Because deep down, Jeremiah knows it's true. Belly did love him, she did need him. But she never stopped looking at Conrad the way Jeremiah always feared. And that realization crushes him more than any fight ever could. Back with Belly, she finally breaks down in front of Benito. She admits she doesn't know what she's doing. That she feels trapped between the past and the future, between two versions of herself. Benito listens, quietly, without judgment. And then he says something that changes everything. The fact that you're still this torn, it means you already know who your heart belongs to. That line hits Belly like a slap in the face. Because it's true, if she really wanted Benito, if she really wanted a new life, she wouldn't still be stuck in the same storm with Conrad and Jeremiah. She'd be free. And she's not. That night, Belly makes her choice. She finally takes out the letter, sits down with shaking hands, and addresses it properly. We still don't see the name on the envelope, but we see her tears fall onto the page. We see her whisper, "I'm sorry," as she seals it. and then she slips it under someone's door. The camera lingers just long enough to make us scream at the screen, desperate to know whose door it was. Was it Conrad's? Jeremiah's? Or did she leave it with Benito as her way of saying goodbye? By the end of Section 5, the tension is unbearable. Conrad and Jeremiah sit in separate rooms, both waiting, both dreading the truth. Belly lies in her bed, staring at the ceiling, knowing that whatever happens next will change her life forever. And as the episode fades out, we hear Jeremiah's voice from the other side of the door whispering, "Belly." The screen cuts to black, leaving us with the kind of cliffhanger that makes your heart pound and your mind race. Because you know the finale is about to tear everything apart. The finale of Season 3, Episode 11 doesn't hold back. It kicks in right where we left off, Jeremiah standing outside the door, whispering Belly's name. His voice soft but breaking. Belly freezes in her bed, eyes wide, because she knows exactly what's coming. She hears him pick up the envelope from the floor. And in that silence, with nothing but the sound of Jeremiah's breath, you can feel the world tilt. He reads it. His face tells us everything before the words even do. His jaw tightens, his eyes gloss over, and for the first time, Jeremiah doesn't look like the hopeful, bright boy we've known. He looks shattered. The letter is Belly's confession. It's Conrad. It's always been Conrad. And even though Jeremiah probably knew this deep down, seeing it in her own handwriting, sealed and undeniable, is like a knife to the chest. Jeremiah doesn't storm into Belly's room. He doesn't yell. He just quietly walks away, letter still in his hand. And the look on his face is enough to rip us apart. Because Jeremiah loved her with everything he had, and in one night, it all slipped away. That's the kind of heartbreak that changes people forever. When Conrad finds Jeremiah outside with the letter, he hesitates. He doesn't even want to take it because some part of him feels like he doesn't deserve it. But Jeremiah shoves it into his chest and says, "You win. You always win." That single line? Man, it cuts deep. Because this isn't just about Belly anymore, this is about years of rivalry. Years of feeling like the shadow to Conrad's son. Jeremiah walks off into the night, leaving Conrad holding the one thing he's wanted for so long but at the worst possible cost, Belly. Meanwhile, is restless. She knows Jeremiah read it. She knows the damage is already done. But when Conrad comes to her door, letter still in his hand, the look in his eyes tells her everything. For the first time in forever, there's no sarcasm, no guarded walls, no running away. Conrad just looks at her like she's the only thing keeping him alive. And Belly, trembling, whispers, "I'm tired of fighting it." Those words are enough to change everything. They fall into each other, finally. But it's not the fairy tale reunion we once imagined. It's messy. It's raw. It's filled with tears and apologies and desperate hands holding on like they'll disappear if they let go. This is love, but it's also pain. Because even as they come together, Jeremiah's broken heart lingers in the background, reminding us that no choice comes without sacrifice. The final moments of Episode 11 are brutal. We see Jeremiah packing a bag, walking alone through the Paris streets lit up by cold lights. We see Belly and Conrad finally admitting that they've loved each other all along, even when it hurt too much to say it. And then, the camera shifts showing Benito watching from a distance, realizing that Belly's story never really included him. His role was to push her toward the truth, even if it meant losing her in the process. The last scene is quiet but heavy. Belly stands at a balcony with Conrad, watching Jeremiah's silhouette disappear into the night. She whispers, "I never wanted to hurt him," and Conrad answers, "I know. But some hurts don't heal." The screen lingers on Belly's face, torn between relief and guilt, love and loss, before fading to black dot, and that's where they leave us. No easy answers, no perfect ending. Just raw, messy love that's as beautiful as it is destructive. Season 3, Episode 11 closes the chapter on the love triangle we've been trapped in for so long. But it doesn't promise us peace. Instead, it sets us up for a Season 4 where Jeremiah's pain could come back stronger than ever, where Belly and Conrad's fragile reunion could be tested again, and where the question of whether love is worth all this damage will keep haunting every single one of them. Because here's the truth: Belly may have chosen, but nothing feels resolved. The Fisher brothers aren't the same. Jeremiah's not the same. And Belly herself, she's carrying the weight of knowing her happiness came at the cost of breaking someone who once saved her. That's the kind of ending that sticks with you. The kind that makes you lie awake wondering, did Belly really make the right choice? Or did she just choose the heartbreak that feels familiar? And with that cliffhanger, the audience is left desperate for more. We've waited 3 years of longing, fights, and confusion, and now that the choice has been made, the real consequences are about to begin.